Earning a Consumer Reports recommendation is tough, but losing it means one thing: widespread mechanical failure. 10 former top picks just got blacklisted for 2026 after owners reported constant trips to the service bay and crippling reliability issues. Let's count down 10 cars Consumer Reports officially stopped recommending. Number 10, BMW iX. The BMW iX wowed testers with its road manners and impressive range, but Consumer Reports quietly dropped it from the recommended list after reliability and owner satisfaction scores slid below average, and the owner complaints reveal exactly why. The iX once held a spot on Consumer Reports' recommended roster, but reliability data pulled it down to a below-average rating, with the organization scoring the value proposition at a dismal 22 out of 100. That value score alone tells you owners feel they are not getting what they paid for on a vehicle that stickers well into luxury territory. Owner reviews on Edmunds paint a troubling picture, with one owner reporting that the communication system control card keeps failing due to overheating, and that BMW has not attempted a meaningful fix. When a critical electronic module repeatedly fails from thermal issues on a brand-new luxury EV, it signals deeper engineering problems that no amount of badge prestige can excuse. Owner satisfaction landed at just 3 out of 5 in Consumer Reports survey, a mediocre showing for a vehicle marketed as the pinnacle of BMW's electric ambitions. The complexity that makes the iX feel special, from its intricate infotainment to its dense array of electronics, is precisely what generates the repair headaches owners describe. Electronic gremlins, control module failures, and the general sense that the vehicle demands too many dealer visits have eroded the confidence buyers need at this price. For a company that built its reputation on the ultimate driving machine, watching the iX lose its Consumer Reports recommendation over recurring electronic failures is a genuinely damaging development, and that's why it opens this list at number 10. Number 9, Volkswagen ID.4. The Volkswagen ID.4 was supposed to be the people's electric SUV, but Consumer Reports has hammered it as one of the least reliable vehicles in its entire survey. And 2026 brings no relief, with the organization expecting it to be less reliable than the average new car. Consumer Reports handed the ID.4 a devastating reliability score of just 29, ranking it as the single least reliable vehicle in its testing, and the reasons read like a checklist of everything that can go wrong with an EV. The organization specifically cited problems with the electric vehicle battery, the drive system, the brakes, and the charging system, meaning the failures aren't confined to one component but spread across the vehicle's most critical systems. When the battery, the motor, and the charging hardware all draw complaints simultaneously, owners are left with a vehicle that can fail in multiple fundamental ways. The 2026 ID.4 has already been recalled once by NHTSA, and owners on forums have documented lengthy repair delays, with one owner reporting their 2024 model went in for recall and warranty work in January 2026 and remained stuck at the dealership for an extended period. That kind of prolonged downtime, where a car sits in the shop for weeks while owners wait for parts and software fixes, is exactly the frustration Consumer Reports data captures. The 12-volt electrical system has been another persistent sore point, leaving vehicles unable to start or losing functions unexpectedly. For a mainstream vehicle from one of the world's largest automakers, earning the title of least reliable is a stunning failure, and the constant repairs owners describe explain precisely why Consumer Reports refuses to recommend it. The ID.4's combination of battery, drive, brake, and charging complaints lands it at number 9. Number 8, Jeep Grand Cherokee. The Jeep Grand Cherokee remains one of America's most beloved SUV nameplates, but Consumer Reports has stopped recommending it and expects the 2026 model to be less reliable than the average new car, a prediction built on troubling data from the 2023, 2024, and 2025 model years. The problem isn't a single model year fluke but a pattern that spans multiple years, which is exactly what makes Consumer Reports so cautious. Stellantis, the parent company behind Jeep, has historically ranked at or near the bottom of reliability rankings, and the Grand Cherokee carries that unfortunate legacy forward. Owners have documented a range of recurring headaches, with electrical gremlins being among the most common, from finicky infotainment systems and warning lights that appear without clear cause to electronic modules that behave unpredictably. The transmission has also drawn complaints, with owners reporting rough shifting and occasional hesitation that undermines the premium feel a Grand Cherokee is supposed to deliver. When a vehicle in this price range develops electrical and drivetrain issues within the first few years, the repair bills and dealer visits pile up quickly, eroding the ownership experience. The complexity of the modern Grand Cherokee, packed with technology and available in increasingly elaborate configurations, gives more opportunities for something to go wrong. Consumer Reports' reliability prediction reflects real-world survey data from owners who reported problems, not speculation, which makes the downgrade especially significant. While the Grand Cherokee continues to sell well on the strength of its capability, styling, and heritage, the constant repairs that Consumer Reports data captures reveal a vehicle that struggles to match its rivals on dependability. That persistent pattern of below-average reliability across multiple model years is exactly why the Jeep Grand Cherokee earns number 8 on this list. Number 7. Honda Prologue. The Honda Prologue wears a badge synonymous with bulletproof reliability, which makes it genuinely shocking that Consumer Reports reportedly named it the number 1 electric SUV to avoid. A stunning verdict for a vehicle carrying the Honda name. The root of the problem lies in the Prologue's unusual origins, because it was co-developed on General Motors' electric platform rather than engineered from Honda's own DNA. And many of the complaints trace directly back to that GM-sourced foundation rather than Honda's traditional engineering. Consumer Reports flagged software glitches as a defining issue, noting that these kinds of problems are common in first-generation EVs and contribute to a generally unreliable ownership experience. Owners have reported a troubling array of issues, with one of the most alarming being random and aggressive braking events, including sudden unexpected braking at highway speeds, which is genuinely dangerous and exactly the kind of fault that shatters trust immediately. Others have documented technology glitches, quality and manufacturing concerns, and a general sense that the vehicle doesn't drive or feel like the polished, dependable Honda they expected, with some bluntly noting it behaves more like a GM product. For a brand that built its entire reputation on vehicles that simply never quit, these first-year stumbles are especially jarring, because Prologue buyers almost certainly chose it expecting the same worry-free ownership they'd get from a CR-V or Accord. Consumer Reports basing its avoidance recommendation on real reliability, survey data rather than speculation makes the downgrade impossible to dismiss. While some owners report happy, trouble-free experiences, the volume of software and safety-related braking complaints tells a different story. That gap between the Honda badge and the actual ownership experience is why the Prologue lands at number 7. Number 6. Kia EV9. The Kia EV9 arrived as the first genuinely affordable 3-row electric SUV in America and earned rave reviews, but Consumer Reports has stopped recommending it after documenting a persistent battery-related electrical defect affecting a significant share of owners. According to Consumer Reports reliability survey data, between 2 and 10% of Hyundai and Kia EV owners experienced problems tied to the Integrated Charging Control Unit, known as the ICCU, and the EV9 sits squarely in that troubled group. The ICCU manages the flow of energy between the high-voltage battery pack and the 12-volt auxiliary system, and when it fails, it stops charging the 12-volt battery, triggering a cascading electrical failure that can disable the entire vehicle, including complete loss of drive power on the road. That failure rate, potentially reaching 1 in 10 vehicles, is alarming for a family SUV that owners depend on for daily transportation. Owners on Reddit and dedicated forums have documented the dreaded ICCU failure firsthand, with reports of both the 12-volt battery and the ICCU needing replacement, sometimes at shockingly low mileage. One legal analysis of 2026 EV9 problems identified ICCU failure and charging interruptions alongside persistent vibrations and sunroof issues, painting a picture of a vehicle with more gremlins than a $54,000 SUV should have. Some owners even reported their brand-new EV9 arriving at the dealership with a dead 12-volt battery straight off the transport truck. While Kia has deployed software updates and recalls to address the charging behavior, owners report the anomalies persisting, and the instrument panel going blank while driving compounds the sense of electrical fragility. That documented ICCU failure rate is exactly why Consumer Reports pulled its recommendation, and it's why the Kia EV9 sits at number 6. Number 5. Genesis GV60. The Genesis GV60 dazzles with striking design, a plush cabin, and genuine performance, positioning it as one of the most desirable electric luxury SUVs on paper. Yet Consumer Reports has named it among the least reliable electric cars because it suffers the exact same crippling defect as its corporate cousins. The GV60 shares its underlying eGMP platform with Hyundai and Kia electric vehicles, which means it inherits the notorious integrated charging control unit. And as one owner forum bluntly noted, the ICCU in the GV60 is exactly the same unit found in all Hyundai and Kia eGMP vehicles, so the problem is not good. Consumer Reports data showing that 2 to 10% of these EVs experienced ICCU-related failures applies directly to the GV60, and the consequences are severe. The unit can become damaged and stop charging the 12-volt battery, resulting in a loss of drive power that can strand owners without warning. Real-world owner reports confirm the danger, with one GV60 owner documenting an ICCU failure at just 4,800 miles, despite doing the vast majority of charging on gentle Level 2 home equipment, which dismantles any argument that the failures stem from owner misuse. For a luxury EV commanding premium money, having a critical charging component fail before 5,000 miles is exactly the kind of experience that destroys buyer confidence and drags down reliability scores. The inconvenience of extended downtime while awaiting a replacement ICCU, combined with the anxiety of not knowing when the failure might strike, makes ownership stressful in precisely the way luxury buyers hope to avoid. While Genesis generally handles repairs well under warranty, the defect itself is what matters to Consumer Reports. That shared ICCU vulnerability is why the Genesis GV60 lands at number 5. Number 4. Rivian R1T. The Rivian R1T won passionate fans with its adventure-ready design and genuine off-road capability, but Consumer Reports has stopped recommending it, ranking the brand a lowly 26th overall among carmakers in 2026 as build quality and electronic issues take their toll. The core of Consumer Reports' criticism centers on the R1T's reliability struggles combined with frustrating design decisions, including screen-centric controls for essential functions like adjusting the air vents, which forces owners to dig through menus for tasks that should be simple, and regenerative braking that can be too abrupt at low speeds. Beyond the interface complaints, owners have documented a stubborn 12-volt battery problem that has plagued the R1T since its earliest production days and continues affecting even the newest models. Rivian acknowledged the problem but described it as affecting only a small number of vehicles, a characterization that clashes with the volume of owner reports. Second-generation models introduced a new concern when a corroding aluminum bracket holding the 12-volt battery caused acid leaks and premature battery death. For a truck that costs as much as the R1T does, the constant electrical headaches and dealer visits are exactly what cost it the recommendation. And that's why the Rivian R1T sits at number 4. Number 3. Mazda CX-90. The Mazda CX-90 looks and feels like a near-luxury SUV, with gorgeous styling and a premium cabin that punch well above the badge, but Consumer Reports has ranked it as one of the least reliable vehicles of 2026, dragging the entire Mazda brand down in the process. The heart of the problem is the CX-90's new in-house designed and built 8-speed automatic transmission, which numerous owners describe as unrefined and jerky, particularly at low speeds in the first few gears, producing a herky-jerky, hesitant feel that clashes badly with the smooth, upscale experience the CX-90's looks promise. Because Mazda adopted an entirely new transmission design for this vehicle, the growing pains have been severe, and the low-speed clunkiness ranks among the most frequently cited grievances in owner reviews. One owner on KBB reported that their entire ownership experience was overshadowed by recalls, the unrefined transmission, and a persistent and unresolved brake issue, capturing exactly the kind of multi-system frustration that pulls down reliability scores. When a brand new near-luxury SUV delivers rough shifting, unresolved brake concerns, and repeated trips to the dealer, it undermines the very refinement buyers paid extra to enjoy. The string of recalls has only compounded the problem, turning what should have been an exciting ownership experience into a series of service appointments. What makes this especially damaging is that Mazda built its reputation on solid, dependable vehicles, so watching the CX-90 rank among the least reliable and take the whole brand down with it is a significant blow. While Mazda has released updates aimed at smoothing the transmission, the reliability data reflects real owner experiences. That combination of a jerky transmission, lingering brake complaints, and recalls is why the Mazda CX-90 earns number 3. Number 2. GMC Acadia. The GMC Acadia presents itself as a handsome, capable family SUV with bold styling and a roomy interior, but Consumer Reports stripped away its recommended rating after identifying a clear pattern of trouble, and one tester bluntly described it as mediocrity on 4 wheels. That harsh assessment stems from more than just uncomfortable front seats, because Consumer Reports analysts identified recurring problems with the transmission, the brakes, and other systems that add up to a below-average reliability picture. The transmission complaints are especially concerning, with owners describing shudder during gear changes, harsh downshifts, delayed engagement when pulling away from a stop, and occasions where the transmission seemed to enter a protective limp mode, all symptoms that signal potentially expensive problems ahead. For a vehicle meant to reliably shuttle families and handle daily duty, a transmission that behaves unpredictably right out of the gate is a major red flag, because driveline repairs are among the costliest and most disruptive a vehicle can need. On KBB, consumer reviews confirmed the pattern, with owners rating reliability as the vehicle's weakest attribute and a majority reporting issues, even as they praised the comfort and styling. That disconnect where a vehicle looks good and rides nicely but keeps braking is exactly what Consumer Reports data captures. Prospective buyers coming from ultra-reliable brands like Toyota openly express hesitation about switching to the Acadia because of these reports, which tells you how much the concern has taken hold. While GMC covers repairs under warranty, the frequency of transmission and brake complaints reveals a vehicle that demands too many dealer visits. That documented pattern of transmission shudder, brake issues, and general unreliability is why the GMC Acadia lands at number 2. Number 1. Chevrolet Blazer EV. The Chevrolet Blazer EV claims the top spot as the vehicle Consumer Reports most emphatically stopped recommending, with the organization expecting the 2026 model to be much less reliable than the average new car based on troubled data from the 2024 and 2025 model years. This is a vehicle whose launch was so plagued by problems that Chevrolet actually paused sales to sort out a cascade of software bugs, and that disastrous debut cast a long shadow over its reputation. Consumer Reports has repeatedly named the Blazer EV one of the least reliable EVs on the market, and owners of the early examples endured a genuine nightmare of frozen screens, failed charging sessions, glitchy driver assistance systems, and infotainment that simply refused to cooperate. The vehicle also drew complaints for being hard to steer and for a disappointingly low peak charge rate, adding driving and charging frustrations on top of the software woes. Because the Blazer EV shares its Ultium battery platform and architecture with the Cadillac Lyriq, the underlying technology's growing pains have shown up across multiple vehicles, but the Blazer EV became the poster child for how not to launch an electric SUV. Beyond the software, the model has racked up multiple recalls, including safety-related concerns that reinforce just how many gremlins this vehicle has fought through. When a brand-new electric SUV combines pervasive software instability with recalls and fundamental issues like difficult steering, it delivers exactly the kind of ownership experience full of dealer visits and downtime that Consumer Reports data punishes. While Chevrolet has worked to fix these issues through updates and later builds have improved, the reliability history is what drives the rating. That combination of a sales-halting software meltdown and persistent unreliability is why the Chevrolet Blazer EV tops this list at number 1. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe the channel for future upcoming videos.